in conversation with Shreya Dhanvantari for Danube Properties Filmfare OTT Awards 2024, co-powered by Hyundai. She's known for her many roles, but more importantly, Mumbai Diaries and Scam. I especially like to chat with her because she's no holds barred. She's completely crazy, and I always am ensured of a good time with her. Thank you, Shreya, for being part of this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. I like that. No holds barred. I like it.
I remember the last time I'd interviewed you, had told me about the world of modeling, how you were body shamed and stuff like that. You know, you said you were in a room filled with 20 corporate honchos, and they said, you know, your nose is not right. you're this. So you want to talk about that a bit?
Actually, no, I really don't want to, but again, it's so funny because it's okay. So this is something that I should say about you, because there's always a fun conversation, even if you're talking about like really, really shitty things, including the story that I'm about to say. It's always really fun with you because you make it a safe space. I don't know how else to say that, because
Thank
it's
you.
okay to talk about things that have really like deeply affected you, including this one incident that I've spoken about before. But it was an agency actually, and it was my first day in Bombay. First day. I just landed the evening before, the night before. And the next day I was supposed to go into this agency that had called me all the way from Delhi. We were living in Delhi. And they said, we'd love to meet you because you'd cracked two completely different auditions and two completely different styles. One was commercial, one was art. So they wanted to meet me. And when I walked in, yes, there were 20 people in that room. And from head to toe, they pointed out every single thing that was wrong with almost every single body part and section of my body. And they were saying it very matter-of-factly. So clearly this has happened many times before. Clearly this would have happened with many other girls, women before. And I remember, I think I did like my level best acting that day, because the whole time I'm like, don't cry in front of them, don't cry in front of them, don't cry in front of them. And the minute I walked out of that meeting, I burst out into tears.
And I remember you hadn't eaten much and stuff like that. They basically body shamed you.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to tell you all the
So
things
what are
that
the
wrong-
lessons you would tell people who are trying to make it in the movies, in series, in ads? What are the kind of you would advise you'd give the girls?
So right now, and I think you've spoken to enough people and you've seen the industry go through so many waves and cycles and changes. I think right now we're not in a very good time. I'm sure you'll agree if I say this.
Yeah, 100%.
So we're going through a particular period where I feel like people don't really know ki kya karna hai. I don't think they know, and everybody's trying to figure out the formula that works. Everybody's trying to figure out, oh no, we should maybe make it in this subject. Maybe we should make it these many episodes. Maybe it should be this time limit. Maybe we should hire these kind of people. And I don't think there's a formula that works, because I feel like in the end, if you make something good, which we've seen with Lapata Ladies, which we've seen with some of the shows that have come out this year.
Like
say Lutere, like say Mamla Legal Hai, right? These kind of shows, or even we were talking about Tabbar, we were talking about Kohra, all of these shows that have been featured by this very body, actually, by you and your people. These are shows that don't quite fit the formula. They don't quite fit any box. They don't have the things that you're supposed to have. Like, oh, it should be about this subject. It should have these names. It should have these stars. It should have this topic. I think it breaks all of that, and it goes to show that the audience will welcome you. But because you asked me about advice for people who are trying to break in, I feel like our audience is being brave, but the people who are making the decisions are not brave yet. So for people who are thinking of breaking into this industry, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I feel like we got lucky. All of us, we got in a time where the window opened like a little bit. When you're like, oh, it's like in the local train when you find like a little bit of space, or ab ghus gaye, right? So it opened a little bit and a bunch of us came in, and I feel like the doors have shut again. I hope it opens, because I feel like we constantly need that churn, like you said, and we constantly need people to be doing fresh things, brave things, riskier things, which have stalled, I would say, for the moment.
And now for the At Home with Danube Properties segment. What is your favorite corner at home, and how do you do it up? Like, is there a favorite corner or stuff like that?
There is, because I feel like that corner has my butt print on it. That's how much I've been in that place. But it's like this corner sofa thing that I have where I plonk myself down with a book or I'm watching something. That's usually my spot. It's like the Sheldon spot. But yeah, that's usually my spot. And the sad thing is, Jitesh, I want to be one of those people who does up their homes, but because I feel like because I'm still renting, it's not my place. I don't feel like investing any time and energy. I don't know why I feel that. I feel like it's your home right now. You should make it yours. But I feel like this is something bad about me. I feel like I'm not bothering to do that because it's not mine in my head.
What is your idea of a dream home? Is there on all your travels, are there any places that you've been inspired by and would like your home to look like that? Is there any something like that?
All the places I travel to are like inspirations, but
Like, give me a
one-
specific example.
Yeah, but my one requirement for a dream home, which none of us have here in Bombay, is space. I need space. Like if somebody comes to my house and we have a way of utilizing everything we get here in Bombay because we don't have that much space. So if somebody comes to my home and they point at one like blank corner and they ask me, what is that for? I'm like, nothing. My answer, I want it to be nothing. It's just space. It's absolutely needed for nothing. Like I want to be able to lie down at any given point in different areas, and then it should like accommodate my length and breadth of my body.
Length for sure.
Yeah, so I need a little bit of space. But there's so many lovely things about the different like countries and cities that I've been to. Like this year, I went to the coldest place that I've ever been. I mean, it's the coldest temperature that I've ever experienced. It was like minus 35
Where?
in Finland and Norway. So I was above the Arctic Circle because I was chasing the northern lights.
No.
I'm not kidding, my eyelashes froze off. Really, like there's a picture of me with my eyelashes completely covered in ice, and like my nose hair had like ice. So basically, if you by mistake, if you wanted to like sneeze or gone, everything's cracking inside. It's true, you guys are laughing, it's true.
What is the kind of preparation and hard work you do? Like you said, Loop Lapeta, or even something like Chup. What is the what's been the most physically intense role for you?
Physically intense actually would be Adbhut and Family Man, I must say. Because Adbhut was horror, so there were a lot of like stunts and looking like a Judail demon person.
So can you take me through what exactly you went through for
So
physically?
No, because I had to. We shot in Shimla. I mean, my part in Shimla actually was only 2 days, but those entire 2 days, I was running non-stop. And in fact, my phone's right here. I'll show you a scene. It was my first day, first shot, first take, right? And all happened. I'll paint you a picture, right? So I'm wearing like barely any clothes because, of course. So I had to run across in the forest. And it was a long shot of me running with full speed, right? And the lovely Binod Pradhan sir is the DOP. And this is my, like I said, first shot, first take, first day in Manali. And they yell action, and I start running. And the camera's on me, so it's following me, right? So I run, and then I slip. And I fall and I skid. Now, nobody has told the DOP that, obviously, he thought, because it was so authentic, he thought I'm acting my ass off. So basically, he went like, wow, kya actor hai? But I had like slipped, fallen, blacked out. Then people started running towards me. And I don't even remember the one thing I was running, the next thing I was like on the ground and I'm seeing stars. I blacked out. So we had to stop for like a couple of hours and then we had to reshoot that scene. And so I'm being like thrown against the bed. I get lifted against the bed. A lot of bruises. It was a tough shoot. And even with Family Man, actually in the first season, in the big climax that happens in the chemical factory. So I was with Sunny Hinduja, who plays Milind to my Zoya. And we had rehearsed, maybe because we're running short of time, we rehearsed like once. And this was our first action shot in the climax. So he was supposed to come here, look here, and then bring the gun here and say, go that side, right? In his Josh, because it's also our first, this thing, he didn't go there and he directly went there. So it would have given me time to adjust my spacing. So he came here and he did this. So the gun, right? So it hit me and I went, and I fell. Gone. Again, completely. The next thing I can see a gun coming at me, slow motion, knock me out and I'm on the floor, blacked out again.
But not the nozzle of the gun, or what?
So this, right? So he's holding it like this. So this, thunk,
Acha, acha, acha.
gone. So again we had to take like half an hour, 40 minutes break, and then we had to come and reset. But that sequence turned out to be pretty amazing anyway.
Your roles in Scam or your roles in, say, Mumbai Diaries, how did you, what new did you learn about the media? Were you able to empathize?
Oh yeah,
much
correct. Both of them
more?
are journalists of different kind, right? So it's so funny. We were playing a game. We were having a game night at Sharip's.
By the way, Sharip keeps telling me you have sort of got them all addicted into.
Yeah,
into
we're
the
having our own cartel, our own like what is the word? Yeah,
mafia,
gaming couch.
non-nepo mafia.
Yeah, very much like that. So we thought we'll have like our own circle where people are just having a good time and being competitive and nasty. So in our recent game night, there's a game where we have to, something comes up. I'm not going to explain and bore people with the details. Something comes up, we have to come up with professions that start with J. And I have played a journalist in like 3-4 things, and we didn't say journalist. And everybody is like, oh my God, it's so bad. Out of all the, I said jailer, I said jungle cleaner, but I couldn't.
What's a jungle cleaner?
It's shit. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I forgot journalist. I forgot. Anyway, my apologies to all you esteemed people. But in Chup, I was a critic working for a newspaper. Semi-adjacent journalist. In Scam, I was Suchita Dalal, who was a financial journalist. In Mumbai Diaries, I was a field reporter, then a television presenter. So media, like television, whatever, journalist. And family man, no, luckily. So, but yeah, I have, and I keep telling this to people, but they are completely different job descriptions. They're not, they fall under the larger bracket of journalist. But one's a television presenter, one is a movie critic, one is a field beat reporter and a crime reporter. So they're completely different. And I'm very humbled by this, but the best compliment I have gotten is from this entire profession, where different people from, again, different types of journalists have gotten in touch with me and said that, you did a good job.
What did you learn about the media?
That I feel like media is also under the same glare that every other industry is in. As hard as it is to have integrity in your job, you have pressure as well. You have people who are your bosses who are expecting you to fall with the party line, who are expecting certain things to come out of you. So as much as you want to be true, yeah, you guys have the same pressures. You still do. And so it's truly courageous for people who try and stick to their guns. I think it's actually an exceptional brand of courage that journalists require to be true to what they have to do.
Do you find your education or your intelligence coming in the way of being a bimbet or being a...
He's asking this question, guys, I must say, because he knows me. This is called taking advantage of your personal friendship with your guests.
Give me an incident where you felt that perhaps you shouldn't have asked so many questions, or you felt that your innate instinct, intelligence has... You don't have to name anything.
No, several times. I
Give me
remember
instances.
because this was a film that I actually signed and did, and I shot for it for 2 days and it got shelved. This is way in the beginning of my career. And then like when I asked certain doubts about the story, like for me it looked like there are obvious logical loopholes. And like the people who were sitting in front of me, immediately the producer and the director and everybody, oh, so you don't like the film? Oh, so you don't like the script? Oh, okay, you have too many questions. Oh, forget it. This is, and I get this often. Because the thing is, I do love reading and I love watching stuff. I frequently talk about the things that I enjoy watching or having read them. So a lot of the stories and the scripts that I read, I can see where you borrowed your or got inspired from. I can see it. I can see that you've lifted this part from here. You've taken this part from that film. This is from this book. This is from that particular magazine article. This is from that interview. So for me to read a script and be genuinely wanting to turn the page has been quite rare, I must say. So it has gotten me into, like, I feel like, again, this is a very obnoxious thing to say, but maybe ignorance is bliss. For the large part, I feel like decisions would have been easier, life would have been easier if I didn't pay attention to things.
So what's the nicest piece of advice you've received and the stupidest piece of advice you've received from anyone?
Stupidest piece was in that meeting where, because they said that as soon as you start earning some money from your modeling gigs, we'll start fixing some stuff.
On your face.
Yeah. Everything from top to bottom. We can do this, we can do that, bear, whatever, all that.
Yeah.
So that was the stupidest advice I got. The best advice, I feel like I've spoken about this, but I will talk about it again because I love this story. Abu Jani and Sandeep Khosla, very celebrated, wonderful designers, were celebrating their 10 years of being in this industry and were releasing a book. So they had called like some 50 top models of the country, and I was one of them for some reason. So the event was happening in Antilla, and the showstopper was Mr. Bachchan, was Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. And up until then, I had only seen him because when we were growing up in the Middle East, our only connection to India was through film. And my dad was a big, he loved film. So he was the one who introduced me to cinema, Hindi cinema, music, and all of that. My mom took care of the Telugu stuff, and my dad took care of the Hindi stuff. And it's their fault, technically, for making me interested in this. And he was a huge Bachchan fan. So I'd seen all of his films, like the entire Angry Young Man phase, before, after, during, all of it. And he was sitting right there. I was waiting because I was right before him after I exited his entry. So we were in the latter half of the show. So we were chilling. He was chilling. I was freaking out. So we were sitting right there, and I'm psyching myself up, right? I'm like, talk to him. Say something. Talk to him. Just talk to this person. He's sitting right here. Talk to him. Say. He's right here. So I'm like, Mr. Bachchan. And he's like, yes. And I say, my name is Shreya Dhanvantri. I'm here. I'm walking with you. I go before you. And I want to be an actor. I've never actually said this out loud. I never actually said that out loud. You're the first person that I'm openly admitting this to. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, don't be like a stupid fan. Say something impressive, right? Like, impress this man or whatever. And I ask him, like, is there anything that you could tell me, someone who's as green as I am, that I should know before I, even have dreams that are too big for my shoes? He looks at me, he's like, come sit here, beta, and all that. And he's like, and he's thinking. And in my head, I'm freaking out, right? I'm like, oh my God, I made Amitabh Bachchan think. I am so cool. This is too cool. He's thinking right now because of me. And what he said because after having spent time in this industry, I realized how amazing that advice is, actually. But that time, I barely registered. I was just happy that I made this legend person think, and he's answering my question. Ho gaya kaam, maine bahut acha kiya. I've accomplished a lot for today, right? So what he said was, after actually thinking about it, he looked at me, he's like, beta, I'll tell you one thing. No one here has any clue of what they're doing. No one. So if anybody tells you that there's a certain thing that you must do, you should do, they don't know. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. So whatever you are okay with, do that. And I can't...
Seems most apt.
But that's true. The more time you spend here, in fact, the people who are making a lot of noise about how things work and they act like they do, they're the ones who, absolutely have no idea what they're doing. And if everything had to follow a formula, we would never have a failure. We would never have flops. We would never have things that didn't work, that didn't land, that didn't quite hit the mark. Everything would work, right? Because everybody knows what they're doing. Of course, you have the stars, you have the this, you have the that. Why isn't it not working? Because art is not supposed to follow rules. There is no formula. There's nothing that you can fit. It's usually the ones that don't fit that stand out in every way. So that is actually the best advice I've gotten, and that has something that I don't even think he remembers, because he was also like probably no, okay, no, not nervous. Amitabh Bachchan, what am I saying? What nonsense. But I mean, he was also like, okay, whatever this girl is asking me something, I'll say, I don't think he remembers. But yeah, it's this advice has been very useful.
So here's to many more Northern Lights.
Yes.
Less broken hearts.
Yes.
More validation from kindness and kindness of strangers. Thank you so much for being part of
Thank you so much.
OTT Showcase.
Thank you.